Hi, and welcome to the Margie and Liisa show. Liisa is off this evening. I'm Margie Wiggin, and we're going to talk about a couple things this evening. We're going to start by talking with someone who's going to teach us a little bit about how to balance work and family and school, and that is Patrick Atwell. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Patrick's been here 5 years.
5, yes.
And he's going to talk a little bit about all the things that he does at the same time. So, tell us a little bit about what you do.
So what I do is I'm finishing my doctorate at Mass School of Law in Andover. So I've been on this journey probably 4 years now. Wouldn't be possible without my wonderful wife and being so helpful and so understanding, because without her, it would never happen.
Nice.
So just trying to balance all that. So I've been on this 4 years. I'm finishing up. Hopefully this summer I have another course, and then I wrap up in the fall.
Great.
And I'll be done there, pass the bar in February. Fingers crossed on that. But it's been a juggling act, that's for sure. You know,
Right.
with 4 kids that I have.
Oh, 4 kids.
You know, they have their school programs they got to go to, and
Right.
then working as well on top of that, and going to school at night is what I started with for the first 2.5 years, and just juggling that. So I would commute from here to Woburn to Andover,
Oh my gosh.
Andover back here. So it's like a big
So
triangle.
is Woburn where you work?
That's where I worked. Yeah.
Okay, so how long is the drive to Woburn?
So that's the Mass.
45?
45.
Depends on traffic.
45 would be great during the work
Ooh,
weekday,
yeah.
but you know it would take at least an hour and 20 minutes to get to Woburn.
Wow.
So I would do that, work, 9 hours. Then from there I would go to Andover.
Which is how far from Woburn?
That's probably about maybe 15 miles. That's 93, so you're hitting that traffic at night going up to Andover.
Wow.
Then I'd sit in school from, say, 5, probably to 10:30, and take that drive from Andover back down 495 to Hopkinton, which, I would be wrapping up probably around midnight. Just
And-
by the time you get home, you got to unwind and
so
see
when
what's
did you
going on.
sleep?
From midnight to 5 in the morning, then I'd
5
start that
hours.
whole cycle again. And
Wow.
so luckily I only did school twice a week, 2 nights a week, and the
Oh,
rest
okay.
were, working and all that. So I did that for 2 years, that commute, and I had the opportunity to retire early at 39.
Oh, good.
So I did 20 years of service with.
Can I ask what job you had in Woburn?
Yeah. So I worked for Verizon for 20 years.
Oh, okay.
So a big package came out. I had the time service in.
Perfect.
So
Oh my gosh.
talked to my wife about it. She's like, well, instead of going part-time to school, why don't we switch over? You can take your early retirement, go to school full-time now, so maybe we'll get it done quicker. And so that was
smart.
That
Yeah.
was in January of 2015. So I took a semester off, tried to enjoy my retirement as best I could, but as my wife said, you got to go do something. So during my little break in that semester, I really into fitness. I have my certification as a personal trainer and spinning instructor, so I went over to Gold's in Milford and became their fitness director. So I've been doing that
Wow.
just to break away from the school book. So I've been doing that
Sure.
for about 2.5 years now.
So now it's just Gold's Gym and
In school. Right.
and home.
And home now. Yep.
Yeah.
The kids, right.
Yeah. Can I interject and ask one question
Of
about
course.
spin?
Yep.
So I did one spin class.
Were you frightened?
No, I didn't know how to slow the bike down. So I tried to sit down
Yeah.
while the bike was going,
Yeah,
and
no
I
good.
ended up,
no good. That's
my
one of the things-
tailbone was really not happy for a
Yeah.
little while.
All right. So I just, one of the things I tell the people coming in for the first time to my
Yeah.
spin class, go at your own pace. I'm going to show you. This is a magnetic wheel. You just can't stop pedaling if you have to slow
That's
down.
what I did.
You just got to use that brake, or you're going to cause some serious
That's what I
injury.
thought.
Yeah.
So there's a thing, there's a
There's a
button.
lever or a button, depends what bike
Because
you're
I
on.
have a
Yeah.
bike at home that I use, and there's something that I push,
Yeah.
and I couldn't see.
Yeah, and that'll stop the resistance. Right?
Yeah, but you tell them ahead of time.
Yeah, I would.
Before
yeah,
you would-
before my class. Anyone
That's
new,
what I
raise your
would-
hand,
that's what
and
I
then I'll
thought.
walk up and set up
Yeah.
their bike and go over the safety real quick with them. Yeah.
Right.
You need it, or you can hurt yourself.
I can attest to that. So, all right, so law school, do you have a focus in your law? I mean, are there some law schools that are more intense writing or more intense reading, or
I
it's
would say
all?
it's all, every law school you go to, it's
Yeah.
The first year they say they're going to scare you to death. Second year, work you to death. Third year, bore you to death. So
Really?
first year was scary.
I never heard that.
Yeah, second year they work you to death with all the requirements you have to take. And your third, the fourth year, you're taking your electives, what you want to focus in.
Oh,
so
that's
it's
fun.
sort of,
So it's-
a breather by your third and fourth year.
Yeah, and
Right.
is it typically a 4-year program, or?
4-year
3?
part-time. Usually it's 3 full-time.
Oh,
right?
okay.
Since I started part-time for 2 years, so I'm playing catch-up for the next 2 years. I was cramming 5 classes
Yeah.
you know, a semester in just so I can graduate this year. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but any
So
law school you
very
go to,
busy.
yeah, the reading is always going to be the same. It's the same core requirements you have to take. You know, every law school takes the same bar that you're prepping for, so it doesn't
Sure.
matter. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
So, and I know some people. I have friends who are lawyers, and one friend said that she has taken the Massachusetts bar and the California bar, and I'm not sure if maybe another one. Does it make sense to you to take more than one bar, or you think?
If I was going to take another bar exam, Massachusetts is switching over to the universal bar exam now, so it'll be honored in
Oh, that
states.
makes
Right.
sense.
It used to be just Mass Bar, that was it.
Right.
But, you know, theoretically, if you take the UBE, you can practice in any state that takes the UBE as well.
That makes sense.
So, you know,
Right.
some states do have requirements. You might still have to sit for theirs, but it'll be a little easier. But I would
Yeah.
only take, say, New Hampshire or Rhode Island since we're so close if
Right.
I wanted to practice in those towns.
Right.
Unless I commuted or had to fly to California all the time, it would just be a waste, right?
Right, I
'Cause you-
agree.
yeah.
That's what I thought.
That's a lot of studying to,
Yeah.
you know, to get
Right,
that
because
out.
there would probably be different regulations out
Different
there.
laws, yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Different statutes.
So are
go
you
on.
focusing on any particular law?
Yeah, so I got into law school because I was a union rep.
Mm-hmm.
So just doing that for 20 years, I was always an advocate and dealing with the union's arbitrations, grievances. That it all came through me as their chief steward.
Mm-hmm.
So then my business manager, president, you know, sort of nudged me. You should go into law school, and it was great
Aw.
because the Verizon and IBW, they had such a good contract,
Yeah.
tuition reimbursement. So
Oh,
Verizon
nice.
paid for my associates, my bachelor's, and half my
Oh my
doctorate.
gosh,
Yeah.
that's amazing.
Yeah, so you know, people don't take advantage of it, but I did. So yeah.
That's amazing.
Yep.
And okay, so so if you had to break it into a pie chart,
Mm-hmm.
how much time would you say was work when you were in Woburn
Okay.
and Andover and home? How much before retirement?
Let's see. So
Is it a third, a third, a third?
I would say a third. That's the
Okay.
way I would break it up. Definitely.
Yeah. And a lot of time was on the road.
Oh, just driving. Yeah. Like a lot of
So-
windshield time, we call it. Yeah.
Right.
So you spend more time driving than
Yeah,
anything else,
because
so.
it's sort of 3 hours, 4 hours
it's over 100 miles.
a day.
Yeah, in that commute.
Yeah.
Right. So it was tough, but you know, fought through it,
Right?
and you know, the ends justify the means. So you know,
Okay.
stay focused, and that's what I wanted to do.
Right?
And my wife kept pushing. You know, just times I wanted to
her.
give up. She's like, no, you
Oh,
stay with
wow.
it, and
Good.
you know what you have to do. So that's what I did.
It's a good team.
Yeah, good teamwork, definitely.
So, all right, so in terms of the kids, when you're home,
Mhm.
are you an active parent or how does, or is?
Yeah, it all depends what time of
Sure, if you get home after
season-
they're asleep.
what time of like law school are you in? Are we in midterms? Are we in finals? Because that dictates everything. Beginning of the semester, yeah, you can be more hands-on with the kids, but when it comes midterms and finals, unfortunately, like that soccer game might have to take a back road for me, which my wife will take them a lot. The neighbors are great, friends are great, they'll take the kids too.
wonderful.
So, but when it comes to test time, it's 100% focus on
Sure.
law school
Right,
because
because you have an investment
yeah,
in the
you don't pass the
future.
test, it doesn't matter then. I
Right.
did it for nothing. So
Right.
all depends what time of semester we're in. That's what dictate how the family life goes. Right.
Okay, so now that you have, now that you're retired, sort of,
Yep.
and you're the manager and the lead trainer,
Fitness, yeah, director.
fitness director at Gold's,
Mhm.
and you're so now it's Gold's and school and home.
Right. So the Gold Sim
So
gym
it's
thing is
not
only
as
like
much driving.
right. So that helps a lot. No more commute.
right.
Oh, you know how much time I save on that is great.
Yeah.
But the Golds is more maybe 15 or 20 hours a week. It's really on my schedule when I want to go in. It's just handling payroll, things like that, scheduling, what programs are going to put in. So that's really just, I say, fun time for me because it gets my mind off of schoolwork and things like
Right.
that. Now I can focus more on the kids and school. Right. So the Gold is just like a hobby.
Good.
Yeah.
And can you work out when you're there, or it's?
Yeah, I just
mostly-
during my lunchtime, or like I said, I'm a fitness director, also an instructor. So
That's what I thought.
Yeah, I teach classes 1, 2, maybe 4 times a week, spinning or TRX cardio boot
That's what I
camps.
thought you
Yep.
said. So the great thing about that is it's a job,
Yeah.
but you would probably be working out anyway.
Right.
So you're working out at your job, and that
Yeah.
kind of takes care of that balance
Yep,
of how
exactly.
do you fit
so
those.
now I don't have
two-
to fit that in a schedule. When am I going to get to the gym? And that's
Exactly.
if you talk to people in the gym, they're either there at 5 in the morning because they have to get out of the way, or they're coming in at 8 o'clock at night after work. So
Right.
luckily I can, if there's
Right.
45 minutes, I can squeeze in. Or if I'm
Right.
teaching, even better. Yeah?
Right.
2 birds with 1 stone.
So when you're going to have the law degree in a year? You said February?
I take the bar, scheduled to take the bar in February. So in law school, you have to test out. So this fall, everything you learned is 13 classes that they'll test you on. So you get 2 weeks each course, and you have to pass them or you don't graduate. So it's called testing out. It's sort of like a boards, I guess you would call it.
And you would just keep taking the test until you passed it? Or you only get to take it once?
Well, then you would have to wait till the next semester
Right.
to take it again.
Right.
So each course you take, it's 2 weeks on it, a 2-week review, then you take the exam. 2-week review for the next one. So you got to pass 7 out of the 12 or 13. So
Oh, okay.
then you graduate. Then December I'll graduate. Yeah.
Okay.
That's my focus.
And are you thinking about starting your own practice or working for someone?
Yeah.
Or what?
So I'd like to do some property law. My wife's a real estate agent in town with
Oh,
RE/MAX.
perfect.
So I call that, no one get insulted who's a property lawyer, but it's no heavy lifting. There's no litigation. You're not in trial.
Right.
It's boilerplate
But it's really
language.
important.
Right.
It's really important.
definitely.
I mean, I just went through that.
Yeah.
And if I hadn't had a good lawyer,
Right.
there would be a lot of things that I wouldn't
to pick up on.
I mean, I can read and I can think,
Right.
but I'm sure there are things that I would have missed.
Yeah, there's
because
certain language you might not understand.
Right.
Yeah, or,
Right. And when you get the paperwork,
Or contingency
there's all
based.
kinds of
Oh.
papers, and oh my goodness,
Yeah,
and put your initial here and read
Yeah.
this and sign that and check
Yeah.
the box.
And we read all that for you and tell you what it's about.
That's
Exactly.
wonderful.
So, property I like, dealing with unions, I would studying in employment law as well as labor studies as well. So
Okay.
just touching on that a little bit, but I'd like to open a small general practice in town, just to start off,
Yeah.
and see
Okay.
where it takes me. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So if you had advice for people who, maybe it's a young couple and they're thinking about work and they're thinking about kids, and you have 4 kids.
Yeah.
So it sounds to me like you and your wife are a really good team.
Yes.
So it
Definitely
sounds like,
teamwork.
yeah, so that's really important. So it sounds like she kind of picks up the places where you can't do, and then
Yep.
you pick up the places where she can't do, and you'll advise each other.
Right, it's sort of like a seesaw effect.
It's
If-
wonderful.
Yeah,
That's
it's great.
wonderful.
It's funny, I met a family in town after one of these meetings, and the wife just wants to start law school as well. So
Ah.
she's about to go nights, and they were asking me, how do you do it? And
That's what I'm
yeah.
saying.
So then,
So what did you tell them?
I told them, you guys got to work together and be a team, be supportive of each other, because without one or the other, it's not going to work. And I told them the same thing about first year, scare you, second year, it's going to work you to death, third. I'm like, just stay focused. If you really want this, there has to be a drive and a passion. You can get it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
So first year they scare you, second year they work you,
Work you.
and the third year they bore you.
Bore you to death, yeah.
And/or that's the time that you get to have a little fun.
Your third and fourth year.
Right.
It's your electives, right? You get to
Little
pick
fun.
what you want to do, your specialty, employment law, things like that,
Right.
your property.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
Okay. So because my daughter is thinking about law. She's in high school, but she loves the law elective. And the advice I heard a little bit was that there's a lot of writing
oh, geez, yeah.
for law. and you might have to work weekends. You might have to come home, and this is when law is the only job. Have you thought about that, or?
Yeah, the amount of writing that they prep you for now in school it's unbelievable. The essays we have to write over and over and over, the case studies we have to pull up, and you're assigned maybe 6 cases per class, and
Yeah.
you have to brief it. You got to know the facts. You got to know the conclusion, why they get to that situation, and you're called on in class. Sporadically. You don't know when your name's called, and if they call you, you better be ready, and you stand up and
to
you
defend your position.
Yeah, and you have your
you
your
also
brief in
have
front
to,
of you. Yep.
You have to research because you have to look at all the precedents that
Exactly.
support
right.
that
They give
law.
us access to these great websites. I guess LexisNexis is one that lawyers use, Westlaw, and there's every case you can. It's so much easier nowadays. As the professors say, back when they went to school, they're going through the books in the library where we can just
Right.
we can pull up a case in
Right, that's true.
10 seconds.
That's true. And those books are heavy and probably dusty.
Yeah.
So what's the most interesting? Can you talk about maybe the most interesting case or something that really grabbed your attention, or maybe it's something that could inform you in your future? Just
The most
any?
interesting case I
I don't know.
had. I think there's just so many that I read.
Yeah.
I think they all just blur into at
Right.
one point. I've never actually stood back and go, oh, that's an interesting case
Yeah,
to think
yeah,
of. There was one that they're doing now, which my class we did last semester. They're doing the one where the suicide one, where the girl, texted her boyfriend to kill himself.
Oh, right.
So they're actually doing that case. We missed it, but that would have been one, 'cause
Yeah, that was actually, that one because that was what he kept talking about doing.
Right, right.
And
Yeah,
so.
and I think there was like a First Amendment issue, that questioning and all that on that.
Right.
Right, free speech, So that was one I wish we had, but we didn't.
Yeah.
There was a labor one that came out with the right to work state law. Supreme Court just heard. Again, we're just missing them. All my classes the year behind us are getting all these ones.
So my other thought in terms of work-life balance, do you take the work home with you and it becomes part of dinner table conversation, or are you good at shut the car door and then I don't have to think about that until I sit down to my books?
Yeah, that's one thing you got to do. So
Right.
I'm able to separate my
Yeah.
schooling, my work with my family as well. Unless school does mock trials and I'm in a competition.
Right, mock
Then
trials.
guess what? Guess what we're going to talk about at dinner? I'm going to do my whole spiel in front of them and they're just, okay, Dad.
Oh, you
Yeah.
practice on that.
Yeah. So I do my opening statement, closing with them. And,
Oh, that's
yeah.
great.
Which it paid off. I got third place out of the law school. in
Nice,
Trial
congratulations.
advocacy, so I was psyched about that.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it was good. It was a
Did-
good experience.
And so did you take the family out for ice cream, or?
No, they said you better get to work because you got another semester. You
Go
got
back.
2 more mock trials to go through. So
Yeah.
So it
Oh,
was
that's
fun.
funny.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, so because I would think that, for me, I think certain cases I would still be thinking about things if I had studied something particularly interesting or absorbing or weird.
Yeah, a lot of the kids we have are so old though, that the
You've
old
already-
common law and old
Oh,
English
okay.
law that you're reading, these case books they have are just so antiquated. It's just you wouldn't. Some things maybe, oh yeah, I didn't know this was a law or a statute, and
Yeah.
you would, talk about that quickly. But
So how old are the kids?
so my oldest daughter, she's 19. Then I have little Patrick. He's not little, but he's gonna be 16. Then I have Lily, who's 15, and Connor, who's 13.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do they ever play lawyer? Do they ever? I mean, did they? Did they ever?
They don't play lawyer, but if there's ever a disagreement in the house, it's hold on, you're the judge. Dad.
That's what
Let's go over the facts and they'll go over the facts at dinner or whatnot, and make a decision. I have to render the decision at the table, or
That's what I
you
wondered.
represent me with mom because
Yep.
she won't let me do this, or
Yep.
So then,
That's what I wondered.
Yeah, that's what they do.
So
It's
it does
funny.
kind of blends and becomes part of the.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
great.
Or if they're just sitting at a table and someone says something different, little Connor will say, "Oh, but you said," he'll get the facts going, and he'll start processing all that information, and then
Yeah.
and just spit it out at the table. It's funny.
Right. Well,
You get
that's
a good
nice.
feel,
So you're able to balance the different pieces,
Mm.
but also integrate them a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, so that it's not.
Right, so they're
Unfamiliar
not,
to
right,
them.
they're not
Yeah.
sheltered from it, so they understand everything
Right.
I'm doing.
And does it look like any of them might be good at law?
My oldest, I thought she'd be good at law. She's like, I don't want to, but
Yeah.
Patty and Connor, they when I open up the practice, they want to work there.
Oh, okay.
So, all right,
Sure. It's
see what
all-
you can do.
It's all in
Yeah.
the family.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
see what they can do. So.
Yeah. So
excited.
repeat again what advice you might have for people who, and this is the same for men or women.
Yeah.
When whichever parent
Yeah,
is working, going to school,
right.
and has the family responsibility or fun, you have to balance all that. So
Right.
what would your advice be again? Just to
So I guess it
repeat.
just would be, first of all, it's teamwork.
Yeah.
If, both of you have to be on the same page. If you're not, it's not going to work no matter what. There'll be more arguments and, it's just not going to gel together.
Right.
You're going to fall behind on schoolwork and
Yeah.
things like that. So if you don't have the teamwork, it's not going to happen. But, and just take the time to, I have to step back once in a while and just think about what my wife's been going through, running here, running there. So if I have time to do something, I'll do it. I'll step up.
That's sweet.
And take some time out of my day,
Yeah.
I can
I
put an hour off of studying to
That's
help
awesome.
out. Yeah. So I think you got to be able
So
to
the
do
priority is what? What's the?
it. In my house, priority is school first.
Yep.
Like I said, work's like a hobby to me because
Yep.
I'm retired, so that's
Good.
in the back. And
Good.
then my family, and then work. Yeah.
Yeah. Good.
So
Good.
it's always that.
Yeah, that works.
They're,
Okay.
they're a close 1 and 2 right there.
Right.
School and family, because
Right.
I always keep an eye on what's going on too.
I think
So,
that's a
yeah,
good answer. Yeah.
Mhm.
And I know this is not. I think having that priority
Mhm.
makes it much easier
Mhm.
because then you know what the priority is, and then everything else can kind of fall into place.
Yeah, and they're all good there.
Yeah.
So when I'm done, it's because of them that it happened. It's not because of what I do. It's because of their support, my kids and my wife. Yep.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Thank
Well,
you
thank
so
you.
much
Oh, thank you for having
taking
me.
the time and
Thank you.
Congratulations on everything that you're doing all at the same
All
time.
Same time, yeah.
That's great.
Awesome, thank you.
And we'll be back in a couple minutes to talk with Karen Herr and Jack Dion about high school entrepreneurs. How do they do that? Talking about balancing everything. See you in a few. Hi. How you doing? Good. So you guys can. We're gonna. Do you work with him too?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, so funny when I
How's it going?
Good. So we're going to pull another chair in. And wire you up like me. Thanks, Patrick. That was good. Yeah. Need to get another chair for Kieran. Yeah. I didn't know he was bringing a kid. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, I have these two, and then my other one's coming a little later. No, I have. Yeah. Three for this segment. Yeah. Yeah. Do you guys want water? Are we on?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
John, you're gonna have to roll the next segment.
Okay. So, Jack. We have Karen Herr and Ryan Kelleher, and we're going to try to find out how did these guys come up with this idea to have a business, what advice they have for other high school kids that might want to go into a business. So, did you come up with the idea, or how did this all happen?
So actually, my mom had seen a couple posts on Facebook asking if anyone had kids that were interested in moving, and we basically just took one of them on and went and kind of enjoyed it. So after that, it kind of picked up, and we've been doing it ever since then.
So how long has that been?
About a month, I'd say.
Yeah.
Been doing it for about a month?
Yeah.
Okay. And do you advertise this, or?
So far, it's been word of mouth. We
Yeah.
actually kind of just set up a logo and a website.
Yep.
We're working on the website. So
Okay.
yeah, no real advertising thus
Yeah.
far, but
Okay. So the advice you might give on related to that would be, if a high schooler sees an opportunity where someone's saying, "Hey, can someone help with this?"
yeah.
And then they answer that, and then they could make a business out of that.
Yeah, no, it definitely shows
Basically.
that there's
Yeah.
like demand for it.
So do you guys have to have insurance for that? Or do you have, what else did you have to do? You just go pick boxes and furniture and put it in, do you have
Yeah.
to buy a truck,
No, so
a
it's
van?
it's mostly just like in-house, like they're getting their floors done or something like that.
Oh,
And they need the stuff out, and then a couple days later back in.
It's
Yeah.
just smaller things that moving companies like won't go there and do for.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So that's really helpful though.
Yeah. No.
Because if someone needs to relocate things, if they're putting carpeting in, then
Yeah.
they need to get that furniture out
Yeah, exactly.
for the day. Okay. So that's wonderful. So so the positives are, you're getting experience. Do you have a name for your company yet?
We do. It's Varsity Movers.
Oh, that's so great. That's great. Okay. So Varsity Movers, you move little stuff while people are doing things in the house. Do you ever see making that a bigger thing of house moving, or you'd have that be too involved?
I'm not sure. I mean, at that point, we would definitely have to get insurance and a truck and all that.
Yeah, I think there's more.
So yeah, there's a lot that comes with it.
Okay. And is it just you guys for now, or you have other guys that help?
We got one of our friends helps us out. His
Yeah.
name's Matt Brown.
Okay. That's great.
Yeah.
And you guys can be serious at work and not goof around and everything?
We try.
No, I know you can. All right. And we also have Jack Dion. Thank you, Jack. I know you just came from work.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No, please. You're a busy guy. So you've been doing this for a year or more, right?
Almost 3 years.
Almost 3 years,
Yeah.
wow. So tell us your story. How did you start? How did you think of this idea? How did you get going?
Yeah, so I actually didn't think of the idea. A guy at my church asked me to push mow his yard when I was like 15.
Oh,
And so I started push mowing the yard. And eventually, towards the end of the summer, I realized I could make more money if I take more yards.
right.
So I got a bigger mower, trailer. I got all the equipment now, and I recruited my brother, a couple of his friends, some of my friends,
Yeah.
and I have 20 lawns now.
That's
so,
amazing.
Yeah,
And I've seen you do that. I drove by you working on a lawn.
probably, yeah.
And I think you do the bark mulch or the edging
Yep.
or the thing and
Yep.
trimming the shrubbery. And
Yeah, we do basically everything. So.
Yeah. So that just kind of happened because someone asked you to mow their lawn,
Yep.
and you did that regularly, and then it occurred to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how did you know what equipment to get and what kind of mower, and how did you do research, or what do you have to do to make that happen?
Yeah, I did a little bit of research, kind of found out what the commercial landscape companies use, and then I found all my equipment on Craigslist used, so it was a lot cheaper than buying new stuff. And I just kind of learned how to fix things myself, so I can, do my own work on my machines, save money, and just, kind of improve on the stuff I have. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I know you're an Eagle Scout. Did you take the merit badge on auto mechanics?
I did not.
So how do you just good at engineering, or how did you?
I've actually been working at Lumber Street Auto.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I've been working there as kind of an internship. I started sweeping floors, and then they started letting me help. So I've been working on cars for the last 6 months.
So that again, that's another thing. So all of you guys did the same thing, which in a way. So you heard of an opportunity, or you took advantage of an opportunity that kind of presented itself to you, right?
Yeah.
And then you said, "Hey, this is a thing," right? So that's amazing. Do you guys have jobs besides this, or do you do anything else, or?
Yeah, we actually work at a car washing place in Waltham.
Both of you?
Yeah.
Is it Scrub-A-Dub?
No, it's,
No,
it's one of our friends' father owns the
Oh
company.
wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So you guys, we were just talking to Patrick Atwell about balancing jobs and school and family. You're doing that same thing. So if you have to go all the way to Waltham, I know that's about a 45-minute drive. And then you
It's
work
without traffic.
without traffic. Yikes. Right. Wow.
Yeah, that one's usually just for the summer though,
Summer job.
because it's tough to get down there during the week
Yeah.
with school and everything.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. That's a good
Yeah.
idea. Yeah, and actually, and that's another thing that's in common. So you get to be outside in the summer. Because, it's not, my son works inside at an office at MathWorks in Natick. So to me, I like to be outside too in the summer.
Yeah,
So there's some to get money, you get to be outside, meet people, right?
yeah, it's
Yeah.
the best of both worlds.
Yeah, sounds like it's a good thing.
Yeah.
So you took advantage of an opportunity that presented itself. So you didn't, so I'm just thinking advising for other kids who someone says, hey, can you help with this? Get the wheels turning and say, maybe I can make a business out of this. And do you have a name for your business?
Yeah, call it Dion Lawn, and
That makes sense.
Pretty basic. But,
Yeah. Okay. So Dion Lawn and Varsity Movers.
Yep.
And so you get the idea. Do you have marketing? Do you have flyers? Do you do things like that?
I have business cards,
Yep.
and I also kind of go by word of mouth.
Yep.
So. it's about-
So do you use Vista Print? Because there's
I
a
do.
company called, I do too.
Yes.
It's a company called Vista Print, just for you guys. It's really inexpensive. You can design your own card online, vistaprint.com. Sometimes they have sales. And you can, I actually have a double-sided card
Me
because
too.
because one side for one thing and one side for the other thing. Yeah, that's funny. Okay, so take advantage of an opportunity. Market yourself if you want more business. Do you have a sign on the side of your truck?
I do not. I'm working on getting one though.
Yeah, I'm thinking. So is that Staples? Who has that?
Probably.
The magnet sign that
Yeah.
you take off when you don't want to be working and then you stick it back on?
Yep.
Yeah. So
So.
have you sent mailings out at all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went around. I've done flyers before actually. They didn't work as well as I had planned, so I just kind of tried a different tack and see what else I can do. So
Okay. So again,
yeah.
that's part of being an entrepreneur with your own business. You try something, doesn't fly, so to speak, then you think of something else, right? So what are some of the ideas you have for marketing besides putting the name on the side of the truck?
I've done
Business cards.
Google Forms to
Okay.
kind of a mass list of people that I know, friends, neighbors, just kind of getting the word out there that these are the services my company provides. If you want a spring cleanup or a regular mowing for the season, just let me know, and includes all my information. So that was actually pretty helpul. I did that
And
this
that's
spring.
a Google forum, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And you would have to have addresses of a bunch of people to do that? Okay.
Yep. So I just sent it out to
Do you
the
think maybe
neighborhood.
Varsity Movers could be on that with you? I'm kidding. I don't know. But if you hear of anyone that needs things
Yeah.
moved, now
Oh,
you know who
definitely.
to. And if you know anyone who needs lawn work. So you do mowing,
Yep.
weed removal and treatment?
Yep.
What else?
Fertilizing, mulching, pruning, basically anything. We've done tree removal, especially from the big storm this winter. I spent a couple weekends with some buddies, just chainsaws, cutting stuff up. So that was
Wow.
pretty fun.
Wow.
But
So
yeah.
a big tree or just the little branches that
all
were
sorts of stuff. Yeah,
Wow.
big trees and little trees.
Yeah.
So yeah.
What's a good chainsaw to use for that?
I like the Husqvarnas and the Steels. I think they're just good quality.
Yeah.
But any saw.
And do you have to sharpen that rotary blade or you just get
Yeah,
another
you
one?
can. I sharpen mine and my dad's, but some people just choose to throw them out.
Yeah.
So depends on the person.
Okay. So for your job, you need tools, rakes, mowers, gloves, clippers, what else? Truck, trailer.
That's about it, yeah. Leaf
All right.
blowers, weed whackers.
Okay.
So there's a lot of equipment
Rakes,
involved.
yeah, I
It
understand.
took me a long time to kind of build up everything.
Well, that's what I'm saying too. So you need to figure out, like you guys, probably just gloves, maybe,
Yeah.
if
that,
that, yeah. So yours is the simpler thing. You would have to figure out all the tools, and probably as you acquire different jobs, you
Yeah.
would realize, oh, I need this thing, I need that next thing.
I try to keep like space in the budget for every year and try to upgrade one piece of equipment. So last year I upgraded two. I used to have a smaller ride-on mower, and instead I went on Craigslist and found two commercial walk-behind mowers that were a lot bigger. Makes the job easier and quicker.
Wow.
So this year I'm hoping to get a third one.
Cool.
But we'll see.
So we have a question. This is a live show, so people on Facebook are watching and they can send email into live at hcam.tv. So we have one question that says, how do you manage your time between studies and business? Anybody want to take that? How do you balance that?
Studies definitely come first.
Yeah.
Business kind of fits in where it can.
Yeah.
I mean, especially junior year is a tough year, so
Oh, yeah.
there's so much going on, SATs,
Prom.
AP tests, all that. So it's definitely tough, but
Yeah.
you just got to find time for it.
Yeah.
I mean, weekends are definitely a good time if you make use of it properly.
Right. So you just make sure the homework's done during the week, and then you can schedule on the weekend,
Yeah.
moving things on the weekend. And how about you? Do you? Because today is a Wednesday.
Yeah, today
and
is
you
a
were just
Wednesday.
working.
Yeah.
So do you just?
Well, for me, it all depends on the weather.
Oh.
Because if it's thunderstorm or really pouring,
Yesterday
can't
was
work.
not a good day.
Yeah, so I just have to fit in my mowings whenever I can.
Okay.
And sometimes it does get a little tricky balancing, studying and stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, I have a week left of senior year at this point, so
Right. You're coasting
I'm kind
a
of,
little.
out of the woods now.
Right. Are
But,
finals done and everything?
not finals, but
Yeah.
just about everything else.
So could you listen to a book on tape while you were mowing or anything? Or-
I
don't
could,
know.
I choose
don't
not
know.
to.
Yeah,
but-
right. Okay. And then another question came in. Does the high school support your business efforts? Is there any kind of bulletin board for high school businesses or any kind of advice from Career Center Builder? Is there any support for teen businesses or high school businesses at the school?
I actually found a lot. I set up an independent study with my guidance counselor first semester this year.
Cool.
And so I had a full class to spend on marketing, research, repairing equipment, and I even got work in the fall. I would, if I had 2 studies, I'd go and do a cleanup job or something and then come back to school. So it was actually really nice. I got a lot of time to put into my business. So
That's amazing. So you could actually do that work in the auspices, under the auspices of it being part of your independent study, right? So these guys are now going to do that. I saw them talk. So who do they speak to get that
I just
done?
talked to my guidance counselor and he set it up for me. You just have to fill out some paperwork, write an essay about what you're going to do with your time, and as long as you have enough work to do, they're very flexible. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Awesome.
That's good.
Well, and I'm thinking it wouldn't just be homes. You guys could advertise to businesses, because sometimes businesses would need furniture rearranged or some other setup done, or even for real estate, they need to stage a house.
Yeah.
So they would need, put that mirror over there, and I don't like that couch, and put that, so there will be a lot of opportunities for you guys.
Yeah, no, it's definitely something I'd be interested in.
Yeah. So, and you're juniors, right? And you're a senior. So that's a good thing. All right. Any other advice you can think of for anybody, any high school entrepreneur wanting to start a business, or someone who's had an opportunity, and how do they build on that? Anybody? You're just going to repeat yourself because you kind of already said it, but
Just take any opportunity you can.
yeah.
That's honestly it.
Yeah.
I'd also say know your market. So you want to be able to give the customer a fair price and make money for yourself. So knowing what a professional would charge, and then being able to maybe cut that
Sure.
since you're a student,
Yeah.
and you can still make good money, but also do a good job and give the customer a discount. So-
Right. And actually, a question on that, tree work is really expensive. For example, I know this personally because my trees just fall all the time. And so when one looks like it's going to go, I cut it before it falls. So how do you gauge what a tree would cost to cut? What are the factors that go into that fee?
Usually we just kind of eyeball it. We take a look at the tree. We'll ask them what they were quoted by a tree company, and then usually we can take several $100s off of what a tree company would charge. Especially during the storm this winter, the tree companies were so busy that they were turning away a lot of homeowners with smaller stuff
Right,
that wasn't
perfect.
as important.
Right.
So we kind of stepped in. We were able to provide a service because there's no other way they can get rid of that tree that's on their shed, or in the backyard, so we can do that at a lower cost for them. So.
Right. And it's already down, most of it. And so Will, I'm assuming when you say we, you're talking about Will or somebody else who works with you.
Yeah, I work with my brother a fair amount, but I
Yeah.
also have a lot of friends who help out.
Okay.
So.
So I actually have a friend who's a tree guy.
Okay.
And so I've had to be the rope holder a few times. So, and I always wondered, what happens if the tree really starts to go the other way? What am I just going to fling So have you had occasions where you felt a little out of your depth, or have you been able to sort of roll with everything that happened?
We've been able to roll with it.
Yeah.
Never dropped a tree on a house, never, damaged anything.
Yikes.
So.
Did you ever have to call in a crane or anything?
We don't do anything that big.
So you would know.
Yeah.
So you're able to say, sorry.
Yeah, if it's out of our
Too
comfort
big.
zone, we'll just tell them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And same for you guys.
Yeah.
If someone says, can you move this piano up 3 flights of stairs? I mean, have you had to say, sorry, we can't, or you just call in more people or get a crane? Or?
We had a situation like that yesterday. It was
Oh.
a big armoire.
Yeah.
It was just the two of us, so we didn't feel comfortable, and we told her.
Yeah.
And that's smart, honestly, because your lives and limbs are more important, and she'll have to figure something else. Because I know the funny story. I had an old piano, and my house was the first floor, right? So someone gave it to me. So it wasn't anything that I spent money on. I wasn't really using it. It was more like a surface for photographs. And I loved it, but I wanted to put something else there, and I felt like someone else could use it. I really wanted someone to use it instead of it just being there. So I put it on Framingham Free Cycle. So a guy showed up with a van, some ropes, and some boards, just like the Egyptians moved the pyramid stones or something. And I looked at him, and so he said, well, can you just push the piano while I pull this? And it worked. Somehow he had, I don't know I guess he pulled the piano onto the boards, and then the boards slid, and he had some kind of ramp situation that got the piano up into the back of the minivan. So never underestimate the usefulness of rope and sliding boards. I don't know. Or Google, how did the Egyptians move the pyramids or something.
Definitely have to keep that one.
Yeah, I don't know. It just amazed me because I thought, I helped a guy move a piano. How is that possible? And it seemed like he almost could have done it all by himself. Somehow, I don't know, but he did. It was for his wife, so I hope she helped him. I don't know who helped him on the other end. I don't know. But he seemed to know what he was doing. So, are you still going to do the business when you're in college? How is that going to work?
Yeah, so I'm training my brother right now and his friend. So they'll be able to drive in the fall because they're sophomores, so they'll be juniors next year.
Wow.
So yeah, they're going to take over the business, and yeah.
And so when you come back in the summers, you'll be,
Yep.
yeah, assume.
I'm still going to own the business.
Yeah. Okay.
And so I'll be taking a cut of what they make.
Nice.
Which will be
Wow.
nice at college.
So again,
Yeah.
entrepreneur.
Yep.
You, yeah, that's pretty good thinking. So, so you have figured out, how did you learn this? Did your dad help you learn how to, did you have to, is it incorporated? Did you have to file incorporation papers, or do you have to file taxes? Is it to that level of, yeah.
Yeah, I file taxes.
Yeah.
So.
On a 1099 or a, did you give yourself a W-2? What?
It's
It's kind of a little relaxed.
yeah, it's relaxed.
Right.
Because I don't make,
Right.
a crazy amount of money.
No, of course not.
So, just kind of, do the relaxed version.
Yeah, I just didn't know how, because you sound like you have so many things figured out. I didn't know how complicated your organization had gotten. You know, because some people incorporate the business and then they file a paperwork with the state to say that this is something incorporated.
Yeah.
You know, and then I don't know.
Maybe down the road.
Yeah,
So.
well, I'm sure you'll get there. I have no doubt about that. So how busy, on an estimate, in the summer, how many days of work would the company have?
Right now I work 5 days a week. Most weeks 6. because I'll work Saturdays all day, and then I'll work after school every day. But in the summer, I have more time, so I can get most of my work, I can get most of my mowings done in 2 days, and then maybe bigger projects done on a Saturday, so then I have the rest of the time to, you know, go fishing
be
and
a
hang
kid
out, and yeah.
For a little while, you still can.
Yeah.
Yeah, good idea.
So.
And then, so it sounds like so you can employ yourself and Will and other friends.
Yeah, I have around 12 people working for me right
Wow.
now. So.
And how many? Did you say how many customers?
I have around 20 mowing customers, so full time, and then I have side jobs that people just ask me for. So probably 30 customers total.
All right. So you've been doing this for 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
So guys, in 3 years, you can have a company, you can have a business card, and you can have 20 customers, and you can have 12 people on staff. I don't know. It's amazing to me that you guys are running businesses. I think that's great. Because it's, I think it's thinking of kids. I mean, babysitting is kind of like, oh yeah, well, people ask people to babysit. But to come up with a varsity movers and Diane landscaping, that's not just, hey, can Karen come over and watch my son for a couple hours, so kudos to you guys. Do you have anything you want to say about advice to other kids working out these ideas that we haven't talked about, or do you think of
We
anything?
covered it.
Yeah, I think you did, probably a few times. All right, so I think we will stop there, and thank you so much for coming in. Congratulations to all of you on being successful businessmen.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
I can't wait
Appreciate
to see what else you guys do. And I'm sure sky's the limit. Yeah, thank you so much.
Yep.
And we'll be back. Much easier when I can actually see the clock. Yeah. Oh, hi, I think we're back. Thanks for joining us. We had a great first two segments. We had Patrick Atwell, and he talked about work-life balance and family balance. And then we just had 3 high school kids talking about how to be an entrepreneur and advice from them. They were fabulous. So the third segment is going to be talking a little bit about Melania Trump's initiative called Be Best. I was very impressed by her coming to the microphone, being poised, describing what she wants to do. In retrospect, knowing that she had this kidney condition at the same time, I just think, wow, she probably was in some discomfort, and she managed to do it really well. So just touching on some she had, and please feel free to email me, and we'll have some conversation about this. She was talking about a couple of different things. She wanted to focus on the opioid issue. She wanted to focus on childhood well-being, and she wanted to focus on online safety. So just checking the article in the New Yorker, there were the 3 points. So the campaign focuses on the social, emotional, and physical health of children with 3 pillars: well-being, social media, and opioid abuse. So well-being, kind of a general category, but definitely something we all agree on, making sure that kids are healthy. And a lot of that is related to, I think, the other 2 points. So online, there have been lots of studies lately that the online communication is affecting kids' happiness. A lot of kids seem to be more lonely, more depressed, because they're online and they're looking at everyone else's successes, because that's what gets posted. Here's my cool picture of me doing this cool thing, and then they feel like, well, maybe they're not so cool. But she also has on her, linked to her site, something about talking with kids about being online, which is actually from Michelle Obama when she did her Be Better campaign. And it's pretty simple. You know, I mean, it's talking about inappropriate conduct, inappropriate contact, and inappropriate content. So clearly parents need to monitor what their kids are doing, with whom they're communicating, and which websites they're connecting to. So talking to them, being open lines of communication for this online safety, and communicating parent values is something that was stated in the pamphlet that the Federal Trade Commission put out with Michelle Obama and Melania Trump is using as well, just to make sure there's open lines of communication so that you can listen and talk about feelings with the kids, so that if there is something that they're stepping into that's difficult for them or might cause a problem, then they might be able to talk with you about it. I know it's hard to talk to teenagers and have them listen, but I think I've heard that they hear you even if they seem like they're not listening. So keep trying. So young children using mobile devices should be very closely supervised, because I know that I have a 3rd grader that I work with who says she looks at things on YouTube. Well, YouTube often will put a suggestion up. So if a person is on one YouTube selection, there are other selections that come up and say, you might also be interested in this. Well, if there's not close supervision, that child could be accessing other things that eventually are not appropriate for them, even though it may have started with something appropriate. And then there are parental controls. You can filter and block certain things. You can block outgoing content. You can limit time. You can have specific browsers for kids. I know I set up a laptop for a kid recently to use for math facts, and on the top I had the tabs. So the certain things, the certain math websites can be accessed, the school website, and those are the only tabs that are available. And then if you're monitoring that kid and you can see which tabs they're using, then you're able to be aware of what's happening. Monitoring tools. There is software that alerts parents to online activity, and then you can disable in-app purchases so that when the child is online, they can't automatically go to something else. And that's kind of a challenge. So then if you have a teenager, obviously they need to be a little more independent, or they resent your vulturing them, as how I say it. And you want to make sure they understand about manners, credibility, and expectations. We've all heard about fake news. There are stories out there that are not real, and they may not have the ability to discern between something real and something that's just didn't happen and not something they should even be looking at. So hopefully the guidance that you can give them leading up to their use of this helps them and protects them. Expectations would be, you know, which websites you think are appropriate and fine, how much time to be on there, what kind of pictures they should put on and post, that kind of thing. Socializing online, oversharing, certain things are family, certain things are not. So these are all some of the things that are in this, this pamphlet, which is actually really good, called Talking with Kids About Being Online. It's part of the Be Best under the government website. Cyberbullying, we all know about that. Features, password protected phones, rules. All of these are things that are advised here. Use care when sharing photos, obviously videos. And again, texting. There is text message spam. But again, encouraging manners. There are certain photographs that shouldn't be shared. And even if the child thinks that it's safe to do so, all of those things would be public or could be public. So they should never put that up there. Making sure that kids' names are private, again, is part of online safety. Even if it's just, you think it's harmless, you need to make sure that there's nothing that would identify where the kid is or their school even. So this is the bbas.gov website, which is what I went to get the information. And ftc.gov, Kids Online, is what that pamphlet is. Again, to Melania, she talked about children being seen and heard, not as opposed to seen and not heard. But she advised them to be careful with their words. And here's the quote: "It remains our generation's moral imperative to take responsibility and help our children manage the many issues they are facing today, including encouraging positive social, emotional, and physical habits." So it sounds like a great program. I hope that it does make a difference. I would like to see her, be a little more involved, because I think she may have some good things to say. But that's our program for now, and we'll see you next week. Liisa will be back. We look forward to seeing you, and thank you for joining us on the Margie and Liisa show. Bye for now.